2025. We'll take apologies for absence first, please.
There are no apologies.
Okay. We'll move then to disclosures of personal and prejudicial interest. Are there any disclosures anybody wishes to make today? Councillor Smith.
Yeah, item 8. I'm a member of the local authority governor appointment panel. I got dispensation to remain but not vote.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Smith. We'll note that. Councillor Anthony.
Item 8. I think personally, because I'm on the governing body of one of the schools that's on there, I believe, so I have to do personal, do I?
Personal interest only, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Anthony. And Councillor Gwilliam.
Yeah, sorry. My ward colleague is on there, and I'm also governor on that school down at Graig, so personal interest.
Okay, thank you. Any other interest before we move on? If not, we'll go to item 3, the minutes of the previous meeting. They're on pages 1 to 8 of the agenda. I've not got any requests for amendments, so happy to move them as a true record. Are there any questions? No? Okay, sorry. Councillor Fogarty's name is spelled incorrectly. We'll get that corrected on page 2 of the agenda. Okay, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Those are agreed. Announcements to the Leader of Council. Just 2 really. First one, just to say the continuing uncertainty around the WRU continues to be extremely unhelpful to the situation in Wales. We will continue to lobby as an authority the Welsh Rugby Union to come to a conclusion as quickly as possible, and obviously, as was discussed at Council and has been discussed in other meetings, we continue to work with the Ospreys to find a way for them to continue with their aspirations to redevelop St Helens and to become the regional side in the west of Wales. So again, just to reassure, those efforts will continue, and I'm due to meet representatives of the Ospreys again shortly, and will be seeking a meeting with the WRU in due course. Another matter, very worrying developments recently in Town Hill, and I want to put on record the thanks for the local members for the actions they've taken and the local police in response to deplorable imagery that was displayed on the Catholic Church in Town Hill. As we said at Council recently and in a number of other fora, the sorts of actions that we are seeing being taken in our communities by a very small number of people are deplorable and need to be challenged on a constant basis. Racism, fascism, Nazism have no place in our society, and we must tackle them head on. And again, I really respect the response of the local members and of our police force, and I hope the police can bring the perpetrators to justice and they get taken through the court system and the full weight of the law brought against them. Okay. We'll move then to public question time. Are there any members of the public who submitted questions? None for today. Councillor question time. Are there any councillors who've submitted any questions for today? None. Okay. So we'll move then to item 7, which is the artificial grass position statement. Just find the correct page. So I will go to Cabinet Member for climate change and nature, sorry, the report to the Chair of Climate Change and Nature Recovery first. So who's going to introduce that? Nobody present from the committee. So I'll go to Councillor Stevens then to respond to the report.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So I just want to thank the committee's involvement on this report, and Councillor Lawson as Chair, as well as Councillor Fogarty for the excellent work done via the committee on this report. So I'm happy to move the report on their behalf. Just to say a couple of words, it does certainly make sense for our city and county, and makes sense for the environment. As a farmer, something I know I don't mention all that often, but this one goes against the grain. Badly constructed, pun intended.
Okay, I just need to pause for a second. I've got further declaration.
Yeah, sorry, following advice, I'll declare personal and prejudicial interest on this item because I've been involved in the work historically, and I'll leave now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Fogarty. We'll give you 2 seconds while we pause. Okay, Councillor Stevens.
Okay, thanks, Chair. Yeah, so as a farmer, I certainly see the value of healthy ground, soil, living ecosystems, and proper drainage. Artificial grass does not help with any of that. It compacts the soil, it blocks the water, removes habitat and adds plastic to the system. Using it for any extended amount of time risks losing the natural processes that keep land healthy, and it can be very difficult to get the land back to its previous state. Natural grass and more so a variety of native grasses improve drainage, supports insects and birds, absorbs carbon, and helps keep our spaces cooler in summer. Again, plastic grass cannot do any of that. But I'm not saying that all artificial surfaces are bad. They have a clear role in sport, some areas in schools, and some temporary situations. But we should lead by example and make it clear why parks, verges, and community spaces need to stay living and resilient. Keeping these areas natural protects biodiversity and shows that Swansea values real green spaces. So with that, I just want to thank the work on the from Councillor Lawson as chair and the STC, as well as Penny, Deb, and the whole nature recovery team, not only for their work on this initiative, but for the wider effort to make sure our sense of place works with nature wherever possible.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens, and very happy to second the report and concur with your comments. I think the report and the work of the committee should be welcomed. And again, it strikes the right balance by acknowledging that there are examples whereby sports playing pitches, etc., sometimes need to have an artificial element to them, but the aim should always be to retain those open green natural spaces wherever possible. So very grateful to receive the report. We've got the two recommendations are contained within the report. But before I go to those, are there any other Cabinet members who wish to comment on this item? If not, then we'll move to the vote. The report's been moved and seconded. Could I ask to show if you're in favour, please? Thank you very much. That is carried. Okay, we'll just wait a second whilst Councillor Fogarty re-enters the room. Okay, thank you, colleagues. We'll move then to item 8, which is local authority governor appointments. Councillor Smith.
Yes, thank you, Leader. Great pleasure in moving the report, and thanks to the 6 individuals that have come forward for this onerous and important role. So happy to move the report, Leader.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Very happy to formally second. Are there any comments or questions for Councillor Smith? If not, could I ask you all if you're in favour of the report, please, to show? Thank you very much. That is carried. I'll move then to item 9, which is the report the Cabinet Member for Corporate Services, and it's the Social Partnership Report 24-25. Councillor Williams.
Sorry, Rob. I'm a bit behind schedule due to family commitments. Yeah, I'm happy to remove the report that's in front of you today. And thanks to everybody who's submitted the work to get to this stage. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hopkins.
Yeah, thanks, Leader. I'd like to also support this report. I think we're very lucky in Swansea. We've done a lot of work with the trade unions to work in a true form of social partnership, and I think we are well on the way to achieving some of the goals in that. So for me, it's a big thank you for the CMT and for the unions, trade unions, for working collaboratively together for the same common aims. I think there would be a lot of shocks in this to some authorities throughout Wales, but I think the way we've worked up till now, I think we've done rather well. So more than happy to support this report. I think there's a lot of work going on and a lot more to do as well on this report. So more than happy with the report.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Hopkins, and again, thank you for the work that you've done in terms of nurturing those relationships, productive relationships with the trade unions. I think we were ahead of the game in Swansea in terms of social partnerships. So whilst it's a welcome formalisation of the arrangements, it clearly just reinforces what we were already doing, but very good to see the report here today. The two recommendations are contained on page 26 of the report, but before I move them formally, does anybody wish to come in on this item? If not, as the report has been moved and seconded, so could I ask you to show if you're in favour of the report, please? Thank you very much. That is carried. We'll move then to agenda item 10, which is the Social Services Capital Programme for 25 to 28, and I'll come to Councillor Gibbard.
Hi there. Can you hear me? Because I just popped up saying my audio wasn't working. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and
Okay,
clear.
apologies for that. Thank you, Leader. This report seeks approval to reprofile the Social Services Capital Programme for 25-26. It will close some completed projects, update some active projects, and include some new ones. There are some excellent developments listed in the report across adults and child and family services, including a number of new in-house children's residential homes, an exciting new high ropes project at our Gower Activity Centre, developing a new city centre hub for our children and young people, incorporating a range of agencies, updating our adult residential care provision, and remodelling our day opportunities. So it's a huge, I can see over £32 million of grant funding there coming in, as I say, to really make a fantastic difference to children, young people, families and older people across Swansea. So very happy to move the report.
Thank you, Councillor Gibbard, and yes, very welcome to see the investment into the capital side of social services, supporting the excellent services that we deliver to residents and clients every day. The report contains 3 recommendations, as you say, on page 33, so I'm very happy to second formally. Are there any comments or questions from Cabinet members on the report? If not, could I all ask you to show if you're in favour of the report, please? Thank you very much. That is carried. Thank you, Councillor Gibbard. We'll move then to item 11, which is Resilient Swansea, a climate adaptation strategy. And again, I'll come back to Councillor Williams.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. The Cabinet had been fully briefed following an in-depth presentation a couple of weeks ago by Jane Richmond.
I think following the advice I had, just to be safe, I'll declare a personal and prejudicial interest in this item as well and withdraw.
Yeah, I think. Thank you very much, Councillor Fogarty.
They did see it. They have seen it.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Councillor
Yeah,
Williams.
the Cabinet had been fully briefed on this by Jane Richmond a few weeks ago. Thanks to Jane and her team for the hard work, especially the way they engage with so many members of the public across the county over recent months. So I'm happy to move the report, and I think Andrea wants to come in as well.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Williams. Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Leader, and thank you to Councillor Andrew Williams for the introduction and for the work that he's done on this. I just wanted to echo his comments. My thanks to Jane Richmond and the team for the work that they've done. This has been in close collaboration with Swansea Public Services Board. We've held a number of workshops with a number of organisations and members of the public, which was really well thought of, and a lot of good input and rich content has come out of those workshops and fed into this. And also in terms of the work that the Climate Signatories Group have done as well, our environmental partners in Swansea. So this has been a real collaboration and a huge piece of work. But the lion's share of it goes to Jane Richmond. She's been absolutely excellent. And so very happy to second and support the report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Williams, and again, thank you for the work that you've done and the work that PSB has inputted into this as well, and as you say, the work that Councillor Williams and the officers have done. So really good to see this climate adaptation strategy with us again today, a really important document. It's been moved and seconded, but are there any Cabinet members who wish to comment on this? Councillor Stevens?
I did want to pass a comment and thanks for the work done on the report. And while I'm certainly okay to progress to the next step in terms of the climate adaptation strategy, I will make a point of food security because it does sit at the heart of resilience and the climate impacts on agriculture is referenced heavily in the report, as agriculture stands to be one of the most affected industries by extreme weather. I mean, you only have to look at the last few years to see that. However, Wales is a country made up largely port to marginal land, as I believe I said before, and the only way we secure our food system is by having every sector of agriculture involved, like whether it's arable, livestock, or horticulture. Each do different things and each relies on each other, and you cannot take one part out and expect the system to function. So, I mean. This just goes to prove that we can strengthen food security, and any discussions potentially around or favouring one sector or another, you've got to really think of it as a whole. Would show a bit of a misunderstanding of our food system and how food production works here in Wales. I mean, grassland, upland and mixed farms are central to our ability to produce food on the land that we have. And even if agriculture doesn't reach net zero by 2035, in my eyes, that's okay. What matters is that farming continues to look to reduce emissions, sequester carbon, improve soils, manage land sustainably, and keep producing food. And food security must sit alongside climate targets and not beneath them. And although that isn't reflected, it is named specifically at the report, but clearly, we will go into the next step in terms of with the PSB. But so I do specifically look at that. Look forward to the next stage. And Chair, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens. Councillor Williams.
Yes, thank you, Leader, and thank you to Councillor Stevens. And I know through the Swansea Public Services Board and the net zero and nature recovery step in our wellbeing plan, we held the sustainable food workshops, and I know that your input and your experience as a farmer was really invaluable, and we continue to do that. I think it is frustrating when Welsh Government measure us in food miles, food cost as opposed to food miles. If we procure locally, then surely that's more sustainable as a strategy. And then we support local businesses as well. It shouldn't just be cost, because often food is cheaper from other parts of the world, but that's not sustainable in my opinion. So that came through very clearly in the workshops that the PSB held. So thanks again for your input, and we'll continue those conversations and moving that action plan along.
Okay, thank you, colleagues. Are there any other comments or questions on the report? If not, you have the recommendations which have been moved and seconded. So could I ask you all to show if you're in favour, please? Thank you very much. That is agreed. And again, we'll pause just for a second to allow Councillor Fogarty to return to the room. Okay, we'll move to our final item today then, which is the National Forest of Wales Landscape Scheme Grant 25 to 27. Councillor Stevens.
Thanks, Chair. This report's come in retrospectively, so the reasons being the deadline for the National Forest of Wales grant was tight, and the team had to move quickly to make sure Swansea did not miss out. So bringing it here now gives our chance to confirm our support for the bid and the project behind it. So the Connecting Communities Woodland Swansea project focuses on Bishop Wood and Penlan Racecourse. It seeks to improve access, strengthen biodiversity, and create more opportunities for community learning and volunteering. Both sites have huge potential, and this funding helps us unlock it. So there's no financial risk to the council. It also builds on the strong partnership work with Coed Lleol and earlier engagement with residents and stakeholders. So the report aligns directly with our nature recovery priorities, our climate ambitions, and our commitment to improving local green spaces. So I just want to put on record thanks to Christina, Deb, and the whole local nature partnership team, not only for the work on this project, but for all the nature-based initiatives they drive across Swansea, and for helping us deliver on our Section 6 biodiversity duty. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens. Councillor Williams.
Yeah, thank you, Leader. And again, thank you to Councillor Stevens. I'm very happy to second this report. I think there are a number of benefits with expanding our Welsh forest. across Wales. Obviously in terms of increasing biodiversity and for more natural environments to benefit the community, but also to raise the fact that in terms of construction, there's a huge focus on using Welsh timber, again, to reduce the carbon footprint when we're house building and with our new public buildings. So really welcome this as a strategy. I know it's something that Welsh Government have been very focused on. There is a shortage of Welsh timber at this current time, and further landscaping and further forestry across Wales will help address that.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. Thank you, Councillor Stevens, for the report. Colleagues, if you have any questions or comments, welcome them now. If not, the report's been moved and seconded. So could I ask you to show if you're in favour of the recommendation, please? Thank you very much. That is carried and that is unanimous. So can I thank you all again for your attendance today and declare the meeting closed. Thank you.